Our school, Michael Nagar Shikha government-sponsored co-ed English medium higher secondary, has taken an excellent initiative in conducting online classes through YouTube channel. Even in this pandemic situation, our school did not step aback in providing and enhancing knowledge to the students. So, it's a request to the viewers, please like, comment and subscribe.
Today we are going to start with the new chapter, that is the time and motion. Okay, that is from class 7. So before going through the entire chapter, what we have to know, why the name is given or what is the meaning of this name. Clear? So what is the meaning? First, the time means the interval between two events, means the time, suppose you are going to the school. So from the time you are getting out of the home and up to the time you are reaching the school, so that two events are there. Okay, one is going out of the house, another one is reaching the school. Clear? So the time between the interval between two events is called time. Similarly, in the case of the motion, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn that the change of position with respect to the time. Okay, if you are changing the position in respect to the time, then that is called the motion. Now, the study of motion is known as mechanics. Clear? Now what happened? Now what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the different types of motion. Clear? So, what are the different types of motion? First, translatory motion. Okay, so what is translatory motion? Moves through the same distance in a given time. So if a particular substance or a particular object is moving in a same distance in a given time, then that is called the translatory motion. Now this can be divided into two types. Now, first of all, the example of translatory motion is what? The motion of the car. Now, what are the example? First, rectilinear motion, moves in a straight line. Another one is curvilinear motion, that is moves in a curved line. Clear? Now, these are the two types of the translatory. Now, we will move to the circular motion. What is circular motion? Whenever the object is moving in a circular path. Okay, whenever the object is moving in a circular path, then that is called what? That is called the circulatory motion. Now, what is the example of that? Moving of a fan. Now, this circulatory motion can be divided into two types. What are that two types? One is rotational, another one is revolution. Now, what is rotational? Whenever a object is not changing the motion, but still it is moving. Okay, just like the fan. Fan is not changing the motion, still it is moving. Clear? Now, that is the rotation. Now, what is revolution? Revolution means if it is moving in a circular path. Okay, if it is moving in a circular path, suppose a car is moving in a circular path. Okay, so that is what we call revolution. Now, next what we will learn about the oscillatory motion. What is oscillatory? Oscillatory means that moves from to fro in a fixed point. Okay, means it is moving in a to to fro motion in a fixed path. Have you seen the pendulum? If you have seen, you will recognize what happens in a pendulum. There is one the pendulum moves in a to and fro motion, but it is attached to a fixed point. Okay. Next, random motion. What is random motion? Random motion means the motion that cannot be categorized. We cannot categorize it in these three types. Okay, just like the cycle. What happens in a cycle? Cycle is moving. Okay, it is changing the position as well as it is rotating. Clear? So on the next, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the speed and velocity as well as distance and displacement. Okay. So now what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the distance and displacement as well as speed and velocity. Okay. So what we are learning about the distance and displacement? First we will learn what is distance. Okay, so the total movement of the object without any regard to the direction. Okay, so means total movement of the object. Clear? Suppose this pen is moving from here to here. Okay, it doesn't have any distance as before, means I am just mentioning that suppose it has started moving. Okay, so the it doesn't know that where it has to reach. So in that sense, what I am trying to say is that the total movement of an object without any regard to the direction. Okay, means just the object is moving without any destination, then that is called the distance. Now the next is what? Next is displacement. What is displacement? Displacement means the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Okay, means so over here, see, if in this drawing what I am trying to say, that this one can be regarded as a distance. Okay, means the car is moving from C and then moving from C, and we cannot say that it has reached over here. Okay, as we don't know the direction, so it is just moving. But if it has reached up to here, then suddenly another car has something has happened, then another car comes over here and it starts its direction from here to here. Okay, from C to A. So this is what we call displacement. Clear? So whenever the movement is occurring without any direction, okay, whenever the movement is occurring without any direction, then means just the value. Okay, just the value. So that is what we call the distance. Now whenever the particular distance is having a direction, whenever a particular distance is having a direction, then that is what we call is displacement. Okay, that means what? The shortest distance between the initial and the final position. The shortest distance between the initial and the final position is called the displacement. Clear? Now what is the SI unit? What is the SI unit? SI unit of distance and displacement is meter. Clear? Now on this, what we have to learn, we will go to the difference in this. Okay, we have to find that what are the difference. We have already known that in a distance they are not having any direction, in displacement we are having the direction. Now on the basis of that we are going to classify them. Okay, we are going to classify them, or rather we are going to find that what are the point that that's not classification as well. So what are the points that differ the distance from the displacement? Okay, now what are the points? First of all, the length. Okay, now what happens over here? The length of the path travelled. Okay, only the length of the path travel can be regarded as a distance, but the shortest length between the initial and the final position, that means what? We are having a direction over here. Okay, so whenever it is having the direction, then that is what we call displacement. Now scalar quantity and vector quantity. Now this, what is scalar and what is vector? Whenever a unit is having a magnitude, okay, is having a magnitude is what? The amount. Okay, over here what we are seeing, the length of the part. So this is the magnitude. Okay, so whenever a unit is having the magnitude or the amount, then that is what we call distance. But whenever a unit is having magnitude plus direction, okay, whenever a unit is having magnitude plus direction, then that is what we call is the vector quantity, is called the vector quantity. So if we are having only magnitude, then that will be regarded as a scalar quantity, but if we are having magnitude plus direction, then that will be regarded as a vector quantity. Now can't be negative or 0. Okay, can't be negative or 0. Distance can never be negative or cannot be 0. Okay. But in the case of displacement, what we are seeing that it can be negative, it can be positive, as well as it can be regarded as 0 always. Not always, sometimes of course. So, the distance can be equal to the displacement and it can be greater than displacement as well. Okay, in this case only we can see that the distance is greater than the displacement. Okay. Now, on the next side, just the opposite we have to understand. What is the opposite? That the displacement can be equal and lesser than the distance. See this one, lesser than the distance. Now, next we will move to the speed and velocity. Okay, what is speed and velocity? See, the distance travel in a unit time. Whenever a distance travel in a particular time, then that is called the speed. And of course, if the car has the speed of the car is 60 km per hour. Okay, the speed of the car is 60 km per hour. Next, the velocity, the distance travel in a unit time in a given direction. Distance travel in a unit time in a given direction. Over here, just the similar case is happening. See, over here it is having the distance travel in a unit time, but in the case of velocity, what we are seeing that distance travel in a unit time with direction. Okay, with direction. So, of course, see the car speed is 60 km to the west. So, this is the direction. Now, what are the SI units? The SI unit is meter per second and CGS is centimeter per second. Okay. Next is what? Now, similarly, as we have done over here, similarly what we were going to do, that the speed of the velocity, the speed and the velocity. Okay, speed and the velocity are being differentiated. How it is being differentiated? See, the distance travel in a unit time and distance travel in a unit time in a given direction. Okay, whenever the distance, whenever we are distance is travel in a unit time in a given direction. Okay, so that we have learned just now, so it is quite clear. Now, scalar and vector quantity. Now, all of you is quite clear that why speed is a scalar quantity, because it is only having the magnitude. But velocity can be regarded as a vector quantity. Why? Because it is having magnitude as well as direction. So, whenever an amount is having magnitude plus direction, then that unit will be having the vector quantity. Okay. No direction, of course it is because it is not having any direction, that is why it is scalar quantity, but having a direction, that is why it is a vector quantity. Changes due to the change in magnitude. Changes due to the change in magnitude means if the distance is changing, then the speed will change. Okay, that depends, of course. The changes due to the magnitude or direction. Okay, velocity will change due to the magnitude as well as direction. Okay, thank you. On the next, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the acceleration and retardation. Okay. So now what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the acceleration and the retardation. So what is acceleration? Whenever the velocity, I hope that the definition of the velocity is quite clear now. See, whenever the velocity is changing with the time, okay, whenever the velocity is changing with the time, then that is called the acceleration. Means, suppose the initial velocity and final velocity, okay, we can divide it like this. So, first the initial velocity was 20 meter per second and then it changes to 30 meter per second. Okay. So what happens? That because of this, see, first it was 20, then it is changing to 30. So this is of course a change in velocity along with the time. So that is what we are calling acceleration. Now just the opposite is the retardation. What is the opposite? Whenever the velocity is decreasing with the time. Okay, whenever the velocity is decreasing with the time, then that is called the retardation. Now for this we have to take a problem, or rather a numerical, in order to understand it properly. So first what we have learned, see, another thing that we have to know, that whenever a car or whenever an object is in rest position or in a stationary position, then the velocity will be 0. Okay, whenever the object is in rest position, then the velocity will be 0. Similarly, so over here in this case what happened, that the car starts from rest. That means what? The initial velocity was 0 and it starts moving in a straight line. Okay, so it is moving in a straight line. That means what? Now if it's attain a velocity of 20 meter per second in a 5 minutes. So then what is the final velocity? That is 20 meter per second. Okay, now what is the formula? Formula is final velocity minus initial velocity. Okay, final velocity by initial velocity. Now it is in minute. That means what? We have to change the unit. So 5 into 60. Okay, so what was the initial? Initial was 0 and what was the final? 20 meter per second. Okay, and what will be the unit? 20 meter per second square. Okay, that is the unit for the acceleration. Now what you have to do, you have to find the answer and you will write it in the comment section. Now on the next, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn about the concept of force as well as the 3 different laws of the Newton's 3 different law of motion. Okay, so in order to learn about the force, what we have to know, we will go through the most simplified definition, that is the push and pull is regarded as a force. Okay, now on the basis of this concept, the Newton has derived 3 laws. First law is what? Everybody persists in its state of rest or uniform motion along with the straight line unless it is compelled to change. Means if we are keeping this pen in a rest position, or if we are keeping this pen in this hand, until and unless I am moving it, it will not move. That means what? If we, in order to move an object or in order to bring an object to the rest, what we have to do? We have to apply a force. Okay, so from this law, the 2 concepts are originating. What are the 2 concepts? First is inertia. Okay, what is inertia? Inertia means the tendency of an object to remain at rest. Okay, we are keeping this pen in a hand. Okay, so until and unless I am forcing it to move, it will not move. That means what? It is in the inertia of rest. Okay, but while it starts moving, if I suddenly stop it somewhere, that means what? Until and unless I am stopping the pen at some moment of time, then it will not stop by itself. So that is what? Inertia of motion. So this is what we call inertia, and what is the example of that? You will see in the, if you have watched any of the game show or something like that. So what you will learn, that the athlete take a long run before a jump. Okay, it take a long run before a jump. Why? In order to, because of this inertia. Okay, next is what? Next is the force. So whenever we want to change the position of an object, we have to apply external pressure. Okay, so that external pressure is regarded as a force, and this 2 concept can come through from the Newton's first law. Okay, now what we have already learned about the first law of motion of Newton's. Now what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the second law of motion. Now the Newton's second law shows that the force acting on a body is equal to the mass of that body times the acceleration. That means what? In a simpler example that we can use in order to understand, that is, if the body is lighter in weight, we have to give lighter pressure in order to move that body. Similarly, if the body is heavier in weight, we have to put the more force in order to move that body. So from this we are deducing one formula. What is that? F is equal to mass m into a. That means what? Force applied. M is mass, of course, the mass of the body, and A is acceleration. So acceleration is whenever the force is been applied in order to move, the acceleration come into that place. Okay. Next, Newton's third law. Now what is Newton's third law? Newton's third law is every action is having equal and opposite reaction. Equal and opposite reaction. Okay, now what is the example? We can take the example of firing a bullet. Okay, firing, in the case what happened, whenever we are pulling the trigger, we are applying the force on the gun. That gun is also experiencing the same force while giving out that bullet. Okay, so that is what is the Newton's third law. Now two of the concepts that are very important to understand. First, work. What is work? Whenever we will imply that the work is done whenever the force will show the displacement. Okay, whenever the force will be applied in order to show the displacement, then that is what we call work. Now from there we can get a formula, that is force is work done is equal to force into displacement. Now next, energy. What is energy? Now another thing, the SI unit of the work is joule. Now what is energy? Energy means the ability to do work. Okay, this example I think we have learned in the previous classes as well. Now what is the SI unit of energy? That you will write in the comment section. Now that's all for today's chapter. I hope everybody will like it.
Subscribe. Click on the bell. Like, comment, share.